From downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
A three-car crash on Detroit's west side leaves a 53-year-old man and a 10-year-old girl dead, her twin sister in critical condition, and family members are devastated.
I lost my niece.
And two Metro Detroit legal powerhouses head to court after Jeffrey Feiger files a sex assault lawsuit against Mike Morse.
But first, an accused killer takes the stand in the Chelsea Bruck case and describes what he says really happened on the night Chelsea died.
We'll get to those stories in just a moment, but first we have some breaking news out of Warren to tell you about. A 22-month-old little boy dies after falling into that swimming pool. These are live pictures right now from Sky 4 of the scene. This is happened on LaShane Avenue near Shaner Road. Police say the little boy got onto a deck and fell into that swimming pool. It had the winter pool cover on top of it. There was standing water on that cover. The child was taken to the hospital where he was declared dead when he got there. We have a crew on the scene, and we will keep you posted as any new developments come forward.
Our other top story, Daniel Clay, the man accused of murdering Chelsea Bruck, took the stand in his own defense today.
Clay has claimed in interviews with investigators that Chelsea Bruck's death was an accident and that he panicked and hid her body. Priya Mann has been monitoring the testimony, which just wrapped up a short time ago. Priya, what did he have to say?
Well, Kimberly, prosecutors say this was no accident, that Chelsea Bruck had a broken jaw, that she was beaten to death with a blunt object. And on the fourth day of this murder trial, we heard from Daniel Clay.
Mr. Clay, did you cause Chelsea Bruck's death?
Yes.
Did you intend to cause her death?
No, I did not.
Daniel Clay took the stand for the first time, accused of killing Chelsea Bruck. Prosecutors say Clay beat the 22-year-old Maybe woman to death. Clay says she died accidentally during consensual rough sex.
Because I didn't mean for her to die. Didn't mean for this to end like this.
Clay testified he met Bruck for the first time at a Halloween party in Frenchtown Township in 2014. Bruck was dressed as the Batman villain Poison Ivy. Clay says they left the party together and had sex in his car. He says Bruck asked him to choke her and that she lost consciousness.
I don't know how to do CPR. I did attempt, pressing on the chest like I've seen on TV. Pressed and breathed a couple times, tried that. I got nothing.
Clay says he panicked and started driving.
Kept going through my mind of what I was going to do. All I could think of is I was going to end up in jail for something that was an accident.
Less than 10 miles from the Halloween party, Clay says he stopped near train tracks in Carlton.
I then sat her down in one spot and started to grab some sticks and put them on top of her.
Clay says he knew Bruck was dead and left. Her body was discovered 6 months later.
I just kept thinking, am I a monster that did this? And I'm not.
And Clay did admit to making false statements to police, saying he felt pressure to tell investigators what they wanted to hear. Closing arguments expected to begin tomorrow at 9 a.m. Reporting live, I'm Priya Mann, Local 4.
Priya, I know the jury also watched portions of Clay's interrogation, and he said something kind of peculiar when police left the room. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, that's right. At one point when he was alone, Clay was recorded saying to himself, "I can't believe I did that. What is wrong with me?"
Okay. Priya, keep us posted. Thank you.
We have new information about a crash this morning that killed two people, one of them a 10-year-old girl.
Yeah, it happened around 3:30 this morning at the intersection of Linwood and Buena Vista. 3 cars were involved, and police say alcohol was indeed a factor. Coco McAvoy spoke with one of the survivors.
This is the area where the crash happened, and family members identified the victims as 53-year-old George Nobles, 10-year-old Ariana Woods, and her twin sister, Ariana Woods, who's in the hospital now. And family members say they are just heartbroken about what happened.
I just want to wake up from this nightmare.
Cherie Woods is the aunt of Ariana Woods and Ariana Woods, but cared for the twin girls as if they were her own.
You said they'll bring life into your day.
She says her boyfriend, George Nobles, had a loving relationship with the twin girls.
They loved him, and he loved them. He loved everybody.
Tina Woods says Nobles and the twin girls were on their way to take her home when a 30-year-old suspected drunk driver rear-ended their vehicle, killing Nobles and Ariana.
I lost my niece.
Tina Woods made it out of the crash and is now suffering from a fractured arm and survivor's guilt.
The doctor told me last night, he said you was lucky. I would have lost my life too.
The family is struggling to cope with all of the pain they've been bombarded with in one day.
One's gone and one's sitting there in the hospital on critical condition. That's crazy. A family shouldn't go through so much hurt at once.
And they hope the 30-year-old man responsible for this crash realizes what he took from their family.
You hurt innocent people because you want to do the wrong thing.
Out here live now, and the 30-year-old driver crashed into another vehicle after that initial crash, and the passengers in that vehicle suffered minor injuries, and the 30-year-old driver's name is not being released until he's been charged. Reporting live this afternoon, I'm Coco McAvoy, Local 4.
All right, Coco. Well, the work along 15-mile road in Fraser to fix a sinkhole happens for 20 hours every day. But the story today actually comes from miles down the road in Mount Clemens.
There's so many moving parts in this big story. Yeah. This one, the city of Sterling Heights, making its case in a lawsuit, saying residents should not have to pay to fix the sinkhole. As of right now, residents in all 11 communities that use the sewer line are on the hook for the bill. Nick Monticelli reports one part of that lawsuit is gone.
You know, it was interesting in court because even Mayor Michael Taylor out of Sterling Heights admits this is a very awkward situation. The judge ruled against the city, but that doesn't mean that this entire thing is over.
They must move forward.
Put very simply, the city of Sterling Heights doesn't believe its residents should have to chip in for the sinkhole repairs, which will cost about $70 million. They say the drain district was already being paid to maintain it and never did.
Had that work been done? I don't know, it sure seems to me like we wouldn't be in this mess right now. And that's money that the city actually paid. The ratepayers paid to have that line inspected, maintained, and repaired, and it wasn't.
The new Macomb County Public Works Commissioner doesn't necessarily deny that, but also says Anthony Morocco was the one in charge at the time.
Listen, whatever happened in the past, the facts are going to come out. They'll come out. And I'm sympathetic to the argument that my predecessor perhaps didn't do his job well here. On the other hand, we have an emergency.
That emergency, of course, is the sinkhole. Candace Miller says work almost had to stop because they couldn't afford it anymore without being able to sell bonds, which will now happen 1 week later. The judge ordered the city cannot pursue the suit anymore, but instead must convince the district to sue the county, which is not going to happen. What also emerged, though, was a parallel story. There was another section of the interceptor near 15 in Utica that also needs repair work. Here's the inspection video showing the leaks. This will cost $6 million to fix, and Mayor Michael Taylor says that early maintenance is what should have happened before the other collapse.
That's a lot of money, but it's a lot less than $70 million, which is what we're being assessed right now.
I was supposed to order that lining on last Friday, and I had to tell them no, because I couldn't go forward with the bond sale. So what Sterling Heights is doing is they played a very dangerous game here.
In Mount Clemens, Nick Monticelli, Local 4.
And the sinkhole isn't the only worry inside the Macomb County Public Works Department right now. Ahead at 6, what Candace Miller is saying about a federal investigation into that office. We'll have that coming up.
Well, let's talk about construction then. That's another pleasant topic, huh? The next round of I-75 construction kicked off today in Oakland County.
Lane closures went into effect at midnight as crews began construction between Coolidge Highway and M59. And this is part of a 14-year project on I-75 to modernize the freeway. Phase 1 will wrap up in September. The project will rebuild more than 2 miles of pavement between Coolidge and South Boulevard. Sure to have some headaches with people that usually take that highway quite a bit.
For the next 14
For
years?
The next 14
oh boy.
Years, my goodness.
Wow, that massive ransomware attack affecting millions of people around the world, and that includes here in Metro Detroit.
You're right. The government and major corporations on high alert, but you need to be vigilant as well. Our consumer investigator Hank Winchester is live at FBI headquarters in downtown Detroit. Hank, this is a big concern.
It certainly is, Kimberly and Steve. You know, federal agents not only here in Detroit, but at field offices across the country keeping a close eye on this one. And for all of you at home, if you get email on your phone, your laptop, or your work computer, you need to pay attention.
The cyber thieves strike again. The problem first spotted overseas Friday, but quickly making its way here to the States over the weekend.
What happened to me?
Carissa Knowles was recently hit during the last cyber attack. The small business owner here in Metro Detroit, a victim herself.
By the time I knew, like, all my Amazon stuff, like, I had my credit card. Luckily, it was just my credit card, not like my personal bank account, but was totally gone.
The latest incident affecting people all around the world. The FBI working to track the problem here at home and keeping an eye out for the next issue.
This is very concerning because it is going after everybody that did not update in the last 30 days.
Melanie Ducanal is with the Better Business Bureau here in southeastern Michigan.
What the current one is that you get the nefarious screen and it says, if you do not pay us $300, you will not get your information. You can't do anything on your computer.
So far, thousands of dollars sent to those behind the scam. But remember, it's just that, a scam. Ignore that email and make sure you do this to keep you safe from the next cyber attack.
Update. Yeah. Literally, update. When it says that they have a new version or a patch or anything like that, and it's coming from your trusted resource like Microsoft Windows or your cyber security or firewall provider, always update and do it immediately.
Yeah, I mean, we all get those updates on our phones. Many, including myself, tend to procrastinate. But as you heard from Melanie right there, it is important to keep your phone updated, working to secure your devices and make sure they are protected at all times. We're live here downtown. Hank Winchester, back to you.
So very important, Hank. I'm wondering, though, if investigators figured out who might be behind the attack. I know a lot of people were speculating maybe Russia had something to do with it.
Yeah, and that is the working theory right now. While nobody here in the U.S., federal agencies or Scotland Yard has come out to say who is responsible, those close to the investigation have been looking at different Russian groups, but as of right now, nobody has claimed responsibility, and investigators have said they're not exactly sure who's responsible right now.
Right, but you got to be careful, as you said, and update your systems. Okay, Hank, thank you, and be sure to stick around for Nightly News Tonight with Lester Holt. Tom Costello will dive deeper into the cyber attack and reveal the new warning from Homeland Security. It all starts, of course, at 6:30 right here on Local 4 after the 6 p.m. broadcast.
A woman who's devoted herself to improving her Highland Park neighborhood gets a big gift delivered.
New tonight, what you got from a Hollywood A-lister that needs a huge crane to help get it together. Hi, Ben.
Hey, Kim, beautiful afternoon, and the evening will be as well. We'll be in the 60s till the sun sets. Temperatures falling quickly to the 50s, and believe it or not, that number is as cold as it's going to get for the rest of the week. We will look at some positively summer-like temperatures coming up.
And the owner of a local spa charged with sexually assaulting a customer. New at 5. The police say he did, and why they say he shouldn't have been there in the first place.
And before we go to break, we want to give you an update on that breaking news story that we told you about right at the beginning of this newscast coming out of Warren. That's where a 22-month-old little boy has died after falling into a swimming pool. These are pictures from Sky 4 of the scene on the 13,000 block of LaShane Avenue near Shaner Road. We have a crew on the scene, and we will keep you posted on any new developments as soon as we get them.
New at 6.
The FBI's investigation into Macomb County has now shifted its focus on the Public Works Office. We'll tell you what we know about the investigation.
All right, Coco, plus a frightening home invasion in Sterling Heights, a robbery crew shooting 2 people inside. What we know about the men police are looking for, that's coming up new at 6. As we mentioned at the very beginning of this broadcast, 2 of Metro Detroit's most well-known attorneys are heading to court after a bombshell lawsuit was filed today.
Jeffrey Fieger, representing a woman who claims attorney Mike Morse sexually assaulted her at a Farmington Hills restaurant. Let's get to Rod Maloney. Rod, Fieger says he has audio recordings that can prove this woman's claim.
Yeah, there is a lot of intrigue here, Steve, and the allegation is that the alleged assault happened here at Lely's on the Green on 12 Mile in Farmington Hills back on April 6th. But Fieger also says there's a lot more here, like the fact that the Farmington Hills Police Department is involved and there are secretly recorded conversations. Attorney Mike Morse is, in fact, very well known because of his television commercials. Also well known as an attorney is Jeffrey Fieger, who says that Morse used that as his introduction to the woman who filed this civil complaint.
Encouraged her to take a selfie
which Feiger claims they did in a Lely's back room, and there Morse allegedly grabbed her breasts. The woman left the restaurant, went to Farmington Hills police, who said unless she had more evidence, there wasn't a case. But soon thereafter, the complaint alleges Lely's owner Mark Zarkin reached out to her through a friend on behalf of Mike Morse, hoping to set up a meeting with her and Morse. So Farmington Hills police equipped the woman with a wire to record the conversation.
And they explained to her, because according to the victim, that they were having her leave her purse and her cell phone outside the room so that they would not be recorded in their discussions with her about what happened.
Feiger says Morse promised her the incident left him a changed man. Feiger added later Morse interviewed with the Farmington Hills Police Department, and he claims that Morse's answers didn't match up with the recorded conversation, which Feiger claims included this quote from Morse.
If someone did this to his daughter or daughters, he said he would kill them. That's alleged in the complaint.
So Mike Morse now, we look to have something to say about this. And just a couple of minutes ago, he held a press conference in Royal Oak, and here is what Mike Morse had to say about the complaint.
I'm standing here to tell you there is no truth to these allegations. There are multiple witnesses who were present at the time who observed that I did not touch this woman as alleged. This lawsuit is complete and utter nonsense, and I will vigorously defend myself against these false claims.
And so there is much here to be digested over the weeks to come. It's been assigned to a judge, Judge Phyllis McMillan, and we'll see as this thing progresses where it goes. Back to you.
Rod, what do we know about the criminal complaint so far in this case?
Well, you know, that's the interesting thing, Steve, because it's the prosecutor's decision to make a criminal prosecution. Remember, this is civil. The criminal prosecution at this point is nowhere because nothing has been turned in to the prosecutor's office, at least based on a phone call we had with the prosecutor this afternoon. The Farmington Hills Police Department apparently has an investigation. They're not commenting. So we'll have to wait and see if, in fact, there is any criminal complaint ever filed.
Lots to unfold yet here. All right, thank you, Rod Maloney, reporting live.
Okay, switching gears here to a glorious forecast that we had to start the work week. Man.
Just got the windows open, and now we may need to fire up the AC.
Oh, really? It's going to get warmer?
Yes.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, we're going to go straight to July as we get through the rest of the week. Temperatures outside beautiful today. The thing that we're watching tonight is what's going on the other side of the lake. You can see some showers and a couple rumbles of thunder over there too. That will get into our neighborhood a little after midnight tonight. So this is going to be an overnight burst of showers and storms. I don't think that we'll see anything strong out of this, but don't be surprised if you hear a couple rumbles. Generally what we're going to get is some rain overnight. It's going to be out of here pretty quickly tomorrow. Temperatures right now, it's 68 here, but look at what's going on down here to the south. 80s just off to the southwest of us. Chicago's at 81, Indy's at 82. Probably will not get that 90 that's sitting out in Des Moines right now, but let's check out your 4-zone forecast. These are tomorrow's highs, which are going to be some of the cooler numbers that we'll see in the next 3 days. Usually Metro's one of our warmer zones. That's not going to be the case tomorrow. The east side locations will be in the upper 70s, some low 80s here, but there's a warm front that's coming in from the south. So that's why this is going to be sort of in the middle of our warm temperatures tomorrow. This is where the real action takes place tomorrow in our south zone, Lenawee and Monroe County, especially near the state line. Mid 80-degree high temperatures tomorrow. Everybody's in the 80s in our west zone as well, from 82 in Flint to 85 down in Manchester. But that front stops about halfway through our north zone tomorrow evening. And you can see the delineation there, 80s in parts of Lapeer and Oakland County, and then you get into St. Clair and Sanilac County, and it's going to be low to mid 70s for high temperatures tomorrow. Now, let's look at rain chances once we get beyond tomorrow, or tonight, I should say. Tomorrow morning, anything that's left over is going to exit pretty quickly when we get past the morning commute. We've got dry conditions on Wednesday. That's also going to be our warmest of the week. Then as temperatures continue into the mid 80s, this starts to look a little bit more like summer. We've got scattered thunderstorm chances for both Thursday and Friday, and probably hanging around for the weekend as well. 52 is where we're going tonight. That's going to be a midnight low temperature, and we're going to remain relatively steady overnight, and then see anything that's left over as far as that rain goes to exit out of here pretty quickly. Partly cloudy, we'll call it 80, but you saw the difference there in the 4-zone forecast depending on where you live. But mid 80s for everybody Wednesday and Thursday. Cold front will put an end to that and take us back to reality as we get towards the end of the week and the weekend, but still not too bad Saturday and Sunday, 70 and 74, although that's when our rain chances will be maximized. So we'll have to watch that. But those morning lows, very mild, 50s and 60s for 7 days straight.
I'll take it. Yep.
Thanks,
all right,
Ben.
Ted. Thank you. All right, coming up in good health, a new warning for travelers. The mistake too many are making that could be putting countless people here at home at risk.
But first, a man convicted of murder at a Detroit gas station learns his fate, what he didn't do before the sentence was delivered. Next.
One of 3 men charged in the murder of a man at a Detroit gas station was sentenced today after pleading guilty in the case.
22-year-old Derek Everson Jr. pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. Everson shot and killed Javon Perry after an argument at an Eastside Detroit gas station this past January. Today, Everson was sentenced to 40 to 70 years in prison. He declined to make any comment at his sentencing.
Some exciting times for a Highland Park woman.
Oh, I should say so. Shu Harris Avalon Village project caught the attention of Ellen DeGeneres back in September. So much so that Ellen decided to fly Shu out to her show in Los Angeles. The Avalon Village is a sustainable eco-village being built in Highland Park. Ellen was so impressed by the project that she congratulated Harris with a new house valued at $100,000. And today that house was delivered.
I just want to say super thank you to the Ellen Show, and for them to be able to acknowledge what we're doing and to even be able to be chosen to come on the show and to be gifted with such a wonderful thing, this house.
Well, that house is expected to be fully set up in about an hour. That's pretty good.
That's really good. We're happy.
New at 5:30.
Who will be the new FBI director as the president continues to search for a permanent replacement?
This time it's different. North Korea's latest show of strength did something that now has the entire world's attention, and it's for all the wrong reasons.
What's one of the last places you'd hope to find a registered sex offender working? How about a spa that also offers massage? We'll tell you what one man is charged with doing just a stone's throw away from the police department.
A little higher. Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5:30 starts now.
More than a massage. That's what police say happened inside this Farmington spa. Now the owner is facing sexual assault charges. Investigators say things went way over the line.
And now this man, Khan Von Jung, is facing 3 counts of 4th-degree criminal sexual conduct. Jason Colthorpe is live with this. Jason, I guess we're learning more disturbing details about this all the time.
We sure are, Steve. Number one, he's also a convicted sex offender, and he's on the registry at this spa that he partially owns and does massages at. The spa, which, by the way, mainly does nails and also some pedicures. But police in their investigation also discovered he doesn't even have a professional license to be doing massages.
For Mr. Vong to be taking advantage of his clients like this is just unspeakable.
Farmington police say this unspeakable act began when Con Van Vong, known as Ken, asked a 23-year-old female customer to get undressed and lie face down on the massage table.
He began to massage her, had her lay over on her back, at which time he lowered the blanket that was covering her and began to sexually assault her.
The victim ran out hysterical, went home, and then right to police. Detectives didn't have to go far to investigate since Oriental Spa is literally a few hundred yards from the police department.
Our investigation shows tried to erase the name of our victim and phone number from that ledger book, which clearly showed an intent that he's covering up his crime.
Oriental Spa was open for business today, but Vong wasn't there.
Is he going to continue to work here, though?
I have no comment on anything. I don't know anything at all.
Is he an owner?
He's the owner.
Okay.
Yes.
He also didn't answer the door at his home in Troy. Customers today, some that didn't want to be identified, were shocked to learn the news, which came reluctantly from the employees.
I asked her what's going on, and she didn't want to tell me at first. Obviously, she's just a employee.
It's very sad because I think that he is a good businessman. I think he's done good for the city of Farmington. You know, whatever it turns out to be, it turns out to be, but I'm hoping for the best for him.
little bit more now on that sex offender status. He's a lifer, which means Vaughn has to register for the rest of his life, and it's for a 2004 conviction, a third-degree criminal sexual conduct, which involved someone between the age of 13 and 15. Police also tell me he's owned that spa for the last 5 to 6 years. Steve?
Jason, in a situation like this, you tend to think this is probably not the only victim. Is that what police are thinking?
Unfortunately, that's exactly what they think, Steve. And they're even encouraging anyone out there, I mean, given that he's been there 5 or 6 years, to come forward if there are any other women who have had an encounter like this at that place. Please call Farmington Hills Police.
Absolutely. Jason Colthorpe, thank you, Jason. The search for a shooter intensifies in Detroit.
Take a look. This is Kenny Jones. He is wanted in connection to an April shooting that happened on the 5300 block of Lake Point near East Outer Drive. It was there that Jones allegedly robbed and shot a 22-year-old man who was critically wounded. He drives a black Durango and is considered armed and dangerous. If you have any information, please contact police. Officials in Ohio found a deceased 2-month-old baby inside an abandoned vehicle. The infant boy was found Friday night in a car parked on the west side of Toledo. It's unclear how long that infant was inside the car. An autopsy was conducted on the baby. However, it could not determine the cause of death due to decomposition. Officials are investigating and working to find any connections between the baby and the owner of the vehicle. Now to some breaking news we're following in Warren, where a 22-month-old child has drowned in a pool. Mara McDonald on the scene right now with the very latest. Mara, what can you tell us?
Karen, take a look behind me. You can see Warren PD is on the scene here. They've got detectives in the back of the house where the pool is located. It is an above-ground pool. And what we understand is that a 22-month-old was in back, got in the pool, even though the pool had a cover on it. And the child somehow drowned in some standing water that had accumulated on the cover. Police are here. They are telling us that the family is not here. They are down at the police department. Just a really sad situation here in this neighborhood this afternoon. Neighbors, you know, when we rolled up here, were like, what are you here for? What's going on? We see the police cars. We're not sure what's happening, but that is what's happening. So that 22-month-old child drowned in the backyard in that above-ground pool, even though the cover was on the pool because there was some standing water. I just got on the scene. Karen, as soon as we know more, we'll come back to you at 6. We're live in Warren. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
All right, thank you, Mara. Steve, I'll send it over to you.
Who will lead the FBI? After the abrupt firing of Director James Comey last week, the White House is now focused on finding a permanent replacement and doing it quickly. But Democrats are pushing back against some of the president's candidates, including 2 Republican politicians. Blaine Alexander has more from Washington. She is at the White House.
And hello to you from the White House. The president has promised fast action in naming a replacement, possibly before he leaves for his first overseas trip at the end of this week.
President Trump honoring fallen law enforcement officers during Peace Officers Memorial Day.
We owe it to their memory to put truth before politics, justice before agendas.
Also today, signing an executive order to better protect police officers. Strong support for local law enforcement as the president works to fill a major hole in the FBI, searching for someone to replace fired Director James Comey. Giving this upbeat report during a photo op with the Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi.
That's very good. Thank you, President. Moving rapidly.
8 names in the running, candidates with ties to the FBI, DOJ, and federal bench, as well as 2 Republican politicians, Texas Senator John Cornyn and former Congressman and ex-FBI agent Mike Rogers.
We have to have someone at the helm of the FBI who is not connected to partisan politics in any way.
Some Democrats say they will not vote to confirm an FBI director unless a special prosecutor is appointed to investigate possible Russian ties to the Trump campaign.
There's frankly no need for a special prosecutor. We've discussed this before. You have 2 Senate committees that are looking into this. The FBI is conducting their own review.
The White House today still refusing to confirm or deny whether the president taped conversations with Comey, as he suggested in a tweet last week.
And later this week, Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein will travel to Capitol Hill to brief senators on Comey's firing. At the White House, Blaine Alexander, Local 4.
Some federal judges are now considering if President Trump's revised travel ban is legal.
The 9th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals heard arguments today from Acting Solicitor General Jeffrey Wall, acting on behalf of the Trump administration. The White House wants the 9th Circuit to block the injunction issued by a federal judge in Hawaii. 3 judges questioned if the ban was discriminatory based on the president's past comments on Islam. But Wall asked them not to delve into a, quote, wide-ranging inquiry into subjective motivation. North Korea successfully launched a missile on Sunday, and that is leaving many of the world powers uneasy about the future.
It was a successful test. It launched a medium to long-range missile that landed off the coast of Russia. North Korea says the test proves it has a rocket capable of carrying a nuclear warhead. The U.S. says its strategic patience with North Korea is now over, even hinting at a preemptive strike. President Trump has said he would meet with Kim Jong-un under the right circumstances.
Drivers in Ferndale, Hazel Park, and Madison Heights are getting a big break on those unpaid parking tickets.
Starting today through the end of June, Oakland County's 43rd District Court will forego late penalties and fees if drivers pay the original fine. The court will also waive the $35 default judgment and the 20% late penalty on all suspended tickets. Across Michigan on this Monday, stories from Saginaw and nearby in Freeland.
But let's start up north in Petoskey this Monday, and that's where condos built on a former manufacturing site is under investigation for poison. The Environmental Protection Agency says a cancer-causing vapor is still present in the groundwater and soil underneath those condos. Residents were offered to relocate, but so far none have taken the offer. In the meantime, the EPA is installing a long-term vapor mitigation system at the complex.
A 16-year-old Freeland high school student shot and killed at a bonfire. Saginaw and Midland police responded to a call of a shooting at about 2 a.m. Sunday. When they arrived to the house on North River Road, they found that student in the basement dead. It's unclear what led to the shooting, but police do believe alcohol was a factor.
Time is running out for one lucky Michigander to claim their money. Tomorrow, Tuesday, May 16th, is the last day a winning Fantasy 5 lottery ticket can be claimed. That ticket is worth $105,000. It was sold at the Bay Road Express stop in Saginaw. The winning ticket matched all 5 numbers drawn, which were 2, 7, 15, 21, and 25. The winner must come forward by 4:45 tomorrow. Contact the lottery's Public Relations Division if you happen to have that winning ticket.
Oh, but someday he's going to check that ticket.
I have all those old tickets, and they're filled with like gum and makeup and yeah.
Check your tickets.
Check them.
A blast from the past is headed to your smartphone.
New tonight, what Nintendo is preparing to roll out that is sure to be a favorite.
Police officer rushed to the hospital, all because of something he touched. You'll hear at 5:30 what it was and why it's leading to some new warnings for first responders.
But first, what more than half of American travelers are not doing that could lead to an outbreak of an infectious disease here at home. That's next in Good Health.
A big mess, a huge danger. Take a look. I've been putting the pressure on the man responsible for this eyesore. What's changed? Tomorrow, starting at 5.
IT.